This program has been made possible in part by Interweave, the handmade life, your craft community for books, magazines, videos, patterns, events, and more. On the web at interweavestore.com.
I've got a quick tip for you today on how to mend issues in your knitting before they happen. So right here I've got just a small swatch, but in something like a sweater, you might see wear beginning on the friction points, like on your elbows or at any point where the fabric is under stress or rubs up against a coat or anything like that. So you can go ahead and strengthen those areas before they become actual holes that need to be mended. And to do that, duplicate stitch is one of the most basic and easiest things that you can learn. Here I've got an area that's just a little bit abraded, and you can see here that the threads are actually starting to come apart. Once you actually have holes, you're going to need to mend them. You're going to need to actually darn them. But if the areas are just getting thin, or you want to preemptively strengthen them, you can go ahead and use just duplicate stitch right over the fabric itself. So I'm bringing up a length of yarn right at the base of a stitch here. You can see right at the base of a V. I'm following the actual path of the yarn, and duplicate stitch lives up to its name. It actually duplicates the path of a knitted stitch. So this knitted stitch goes up on this side, goes behind the legs of the stitch above it, comes back down and down the same hole. So I'm just going to duplicate that with my needle. I'm using a bent-tipped tapestry needle with a blunt end, so I'm not splitting stitches. I'm going in between them. And I'm pulling my yarn through and adjusting my tension at each point. So I'm going back down into the same hole. Now I'm going to come up into the next stitch, one to the left. I'm going to pull through and adjust my tension. You can see that it exactly duplicates the stitch underneath. Now you can do this for maximum invisibility with the same yarn that you used for your project, or you can actually make this a decorative element. You can use duplicate stitch like an embroidery element to add a new motif to your work, or to actually, create an area of contrast or color block. Like, for example, you could add kind of a faux elbow patch with a contrasting color of thread. But you can just work as far as you need to cover up your hole. And I'm working on a blocking board because depending on how extensive of an area you want to cover, you may want to actually go ahead and pin down your knitted piece to make sure that your tension will be even throughout. It's sort of like working with an embroidery hoop, but this is just a small piece, so it's just fine to work just holding it in your hand. So you're going to work an even row across however many stitches you want to cover, and make sure that you end by going down into a hole. Now when you want to move on to the next row, what I like to do is actually just turn the work over. And now you can see that there are V's going this way. So you would do the same thing. You would bring it up, bring the yarn up at the base of a stitch, follow behind, make sure that you're catching the old fabric as well as the new, and go back down. Come up one over, and I'm going all the way through the fabric, going behind the old fabric as well as the new duplicate stitches, and going down across. And you would just continue doing that over the entire area that you want to strengthen. And you've got a beautiful new layer of knitted fabric that can be either almost invisible or can actually become a decorative element.